Despite what the TV show wants you to believe, the Flash does indeed have enemies who aren't evil speedsters. The Flash and his family are absolutely the most powerful group of heroes in all of DC, granted power by the Speed Force, which is a kind of universal energy that represents movement, but not just physical movement, like the flow of time itself. Speedsters take this energy and use it to manipulate space and time, so with a hero this insanely overpowered, imagine the goons who can challenge him. Enter the Rogues, this gang of criminals enhanced by either superpowers or super technology to such a degree that you can take on the Scarlet speedster. Flash's rogues are notorious for being bad guys with morals. They won't go burning down an orphanage to wind up the Flash, but they won't go easy on him either. And they're also famous for getting along great. They're genuinely mates, an actual recurring team of baddies who have each other's backs. There's no skullduggery, no betrayals. They all love teaming up to absolutely mug off the Flash, but most of them are powerful enough individually to give him trouble without the others. And before they decided to gang up, each of them had a go at beating Barry Allen individually, so let's have a look at how that went. I'm not even 100% on what this guy's powers even are, never mind how they work. Basically, if you've got a reflective surface anywhere on you or nearby, he's already won. He's found a way to enter his own reflection, where he's discovered a kind of mirror world parallel to ours, and over there he's in control. He first fought the Flash in one of Barry's first issues in 1959. That's issue 105. The number's carried on from the first Flash, Jay Garrick, which is why it's such a big number, but it's still very early in his career. The story was titled The Master of Mirrors, and it opens with Flash ready to get impaled by the sucker of a massive mosquito. This is a bit of a tease for later, because we flash back to earlier that day where this creepy bloke catches this bank teller's reflection in a strange mirror. Turns out this weirdo is Sam Scudder, a convicted criminal who worked in the prison's mirror factory. Is that a thing that prisons actually have? Either way, Scudder cocks up his latest mirror, but he discovers the mirror he failed to make correctly actually held the image on it like a photograph instead of, reflecting normally. Upon further study, he discovers how to bring the reflections into the third dimension, essentially cloning and controlling whoever's image he's nicked. Mirror Master's crimes are confounding the police, including forensic scientist Barry Allen. We know him. And bloody hell, science is the right vocation for Barry. He's so goddamn inquisitive, as shown when he spots the mirror duplicate of the teller at the bank and immediately suspects something. Maybe he just put his hair the other way that morning, mate. Not everything's a supervillain plot. He's dead paranoid. Bit worried for him. Flash follows this duplicate, but the reflection absolutely legs it, somehow outdistancing the Flash. Scudder should just make an army of these things if they're capable of outrunning the fastest man alive. He could rule the world just using these. The reflection of the bank teller hides in this old house, and Flash follows, of course, but it was a trap. Mirror Master plans to defeat the Flash here and now, because Flash is the only person with the power to shatter his criminal prospects. Big ups to Flash here, mate. Scudder doesn't worry about Superman or Green Lantern or Martian Manhunter, it's the Flash that he fears. Mirror Master unleashes his Mirror Monster, the huge mosquito from the start. But Flash does what Flash does best and runs. He hauls ass to dodge the bug. But when he hits the speed of light, the reflection just shatters. He's not sure why, but Barry doesn't look a gift horse in the mouth, just continues searching the property. This corkscrew bit is a kind of dumb funny, innit? He uses his powers to dig a level down and gets confronted by this random Minotaur. Love the confidence of the writer here, by the way, boldly claiming he's written the most amazing bullfight of all time. Good for you, mate. Take note, Daredevil number 5. But if I'm being honest, a bull, even a bull man, shouldn't pose any threat to the Flash. The comic says Flash gets tired, which I think's a bit dumb. But the only way Barry's knackered from this is if he's wasted hours with this bullfight. He could have messed this guy up with a million punches a second. Or even better, Flash could have just ignored him altogether and sped around the home investigating. Not like the thing would have caught him. Eventually, Flash gets an idea. He recalls the strange effect light had on that big mosquito, so he turns off the lights and he's surprised to see, or rather to not see, the Minotaur. Deprived of a light source, the reflections vanish to nothing, leaving Flash free to search the house for the source of the strange apparitions. And then he finds it, and that's basically how Flash apprehends Mirror Master. See, his mirror duplicates were creatures of light, so Flash messing with the light destroyed him. He sends Scudder back to prison where he can reflect upon his bad behaviour. This villain was actually Boss. It's a very creative power set they've given him. It puts him on par with the Flash without just giving him the Flash's powers. I think Mirror Master's one of Flash's cooler baddies for this reason exactly. He can match the Flash's nonsense with his own brand of bull. Oh, a brand of bull, like the Minotaur. Banter. Compared to comic book powers of the modern day, like running so fast you travel through time or becoming a gooey god, controlling the weather doesn't sound that impressive anymore. But it depends on what you do with it, don't it? If all you're doing is giving the town a light drizzle, then you deserve to get laughed at. But if you're summoning black lightning to murder your arch nemesis, maybe you can be cool after all. Issue 110 brings us another classic rogue for Flash to fight in the form of the Weather Wizard, in an aptly titled story known as Challenge of the Weather Wizard. I wonder how long that took to come up with. I would have called it Flash Flood or Sky's the Limit or something, but nah. Again, Flash is the most suspicious man on Earth. Something slightly out the ordinary occurs and he's straight away in his red pyjamas to investigate. I've had it before, where it's raining at the front of my house, yet my garden's bone dry. It doesn't mean it's the work as a master criminal. But to be fair to him, this time it was the work of a master criminal. This fella, wearing probably the most boring supervillain costume I've ever seen, is the Weather Wizard, and he's somehow screwing with the weather. I was going to ask someone to show me the law where it says it's illegal to manipulate the weather, but he does then immediately try and kill the Flash just for being there for no reason, so he does deserve the ass beating Flash is going to give him. Flash runs circles around this clown so much he sucks the oxygen from Wizard's lungs, but before he's finished, Double W spews smoky fog from this strange wand. I think here the Flash stops running just in case he runs into a wall or something, but they don't mention that, they just say the Wizard got away. The Flash is then approached by an officer who claims he's been trailing the Weather Wizard, and we get this new villain's origin story. Mark Marden was a petty burglar who escaped the law by hiding out at his brother's place. Yeah, they've been estranged for a while, but blood's thicker than water. Surely his brother's dead. Okay. How long has this corpse been lying here? What company is he working for that wants a weather machine, but they can't be asked sending someone to check on the scientist? And oh yeah, he was working on a weather machine. And apparently the science to it wasn't that complex, because a random criminal mug like Mark Marden can make enough sense of his dead brother's notes to replicate his device. Throw on a splash of green and some police tape for a belt, and the Weather Wizard was born. So once again, we have an already criminal supervillain luck his way into superpowers, but the annoying thing is, these guys could get rich legally off these discoveries, but instead, I suppose the chance to battle the Flash is too enticing. The Wizard's crime storm blows through Central City, all leading up to what he calls his pet project, revenge. He's targeting 3 police officers responsible for his arrest, but his final attack threatens the entire city as Marden generates this huge glacier, planning to drop it on the home of the final officer. Flash thinks fast and melts it down, but guess what happens to ice when it melts? I thought this man was supposed to be a scientist, but this crimson clown has unleashed a tidal wave that will wipe Central City off the map. In order to redirect the waves, the main character actually does what the cover promised he would do. Not often that happens, covers are normally right lying bastards. Becoming a super windmill, I suppose. Flash defeats the deluge. The Weather Wizard retaliates by throwing a cloud, even though he's already seen Flash dodge lightning. Oh, but the cloud will get him surely. Maybe he's panicking, because this is a dumb move. A sudden blast of air from the Flash, and the Wizard's high-tech hocus pocus is no more. I would give Weather Wizard a solid 5 out of 10. He can be a threat, as we saw when he chucked lightning and made a flash flood that did threaten the whole city. But his powers are too basic nowadays. When you're as powerful as Flash, your villains need to be able to pose a threat. But here, the biggest threat was caused by the Flash himself when he melted the glacier. I feel like Weather Wizard's just too low powered. Like, Batman would probably have a good chance of beating Marden here, and if you're rolling with the rogues, Batman should have zero chance against you. So we've looked at 2 Flash foes so far, and they've been pretty okay, I suppose. But this is the Flash. He's one of the premier members of the Justice League. He's known amongst comic fans as having one of the greatest rogues galleries going, rivaling Batman and Spider-Man in diversity and creativity. So I reckon that's enough messing around here. Let's finally have a look at the Flash's coolest rival. This fella is the one, mate. As much as Flash represents motion, Captain Cold represents motion stopping dead in its tracks. He's not just another Mr. Freeze. This, my friend, is the master of absolute zero. He doesn't just freeze stuff, he eliminates movement altogether. Showcase number 8 brings us the first ice-cold confrontation between these two, in the story titled, The Coldest Man on Earth. Yet again, the Flash is all that stands between order and chaos in Central City. Stands might be the wrong word here, as apparently he can't get his foot in this issue. Is that all it takes to defeat the fastest man alive? According to the trickster, yes. I'm honestly not trying to annoy you by making the same puns over and over, but Captain Cold is one cool bastard. He casually walks up to this skyscraper in broad daylight with a ton of witnesses, and uses this cold gun to freeze the building solid. Then he just strolls in and makes his wicked withdrawal. So, we're 2 pages into this adventure and we've already seen the captain freeze a whole skyscraper solid, cryogenically capture the people inside, and shatter 4-inch thick steel, all with a smile on his face. But crime in Central City? Oh, not if the Flash has anything to say about it. The Scarlet speedster hits the scene and he's too fast for the frost, so Cap Cold cools Flash's heels by blasting the floor, as teased on the cover. I like that, no false advertising. All Flash can do is that Fred Flintstone thing he does with his car as Cold escapes, and as Flash fumes, we're treated to Cold's backstory. This fella, Leonard Snart, don't laugh, knew he was destined to be the Flash's baddie. Because even before he knew what his gimmick could be, he was looking for ways to counter a speedster. A cyclotron, a device for giving speed to electrified particles. Is this real science? What's real science doing in me Cape Comics? Anyway, this cyclotron can give particles the power to screw with super speed. So Lenny goes to his local cyclotron. Every town's got one, ours is next to the Tesco. And irradiates his gun, turning it into some kind of freeze ray. I'm no scientist, but yeah, that sounds about right, doesn't it? So with a spectacular costume well better than Weather Wizard's, and almost copyright infringing Mortal Kombat, Captain Cold was born. Back to the here and now, Cold's experimenting with his weapon in anticipation for his next high-speed showdown, when he discovers he can also use the intense cold to form mirages. Let's read this bit for a minute, sorry. Just like intense heat causes strange mirages in the desert. But that's not how that works. The heat doesn't make illusions, it's your individual brain making tricks, isn't it? We'll have to ask Barry Allen, he's a scientist. Oh, he's busy. Seems while we've been learning Cold's origins, Flash has been monitoring the police bands for any sign of this frigid foe. Led to the local park, Red has ran into a trap. Illusion after illusion batter the Flash mentally until he feels cold radiating from one of the mirages. And this tips Barry off that these aren't real dangers, they're all false dangers to wear him down. So Flash gives Snart a taste of his own medicine. He runs so fast he seems to multiply and then knocks him out cold, sending Lenny to prison to cool off for a while. This, mate, is how you do a Flash rogue. The confidence, the overpowered abilities being actually threatening. The planning especially, mate. He knew he'd have to deal with the Flash and he planned accordingly. And the absolute badness he pulled out his ass with that Mirage thing. Like Mirror Master, he's matched the Flash step for step. without just lazily copying the hero's powers, making for a truly interesting nemesis. Did any of you notice that all three of these bad guys were regular petty criminals who absolutely stumbled upon their powers by complete accident? Mirror Master messed up his mirror to discover his gimmick, Weather Wizard didn't even know his brother was a scientist, and Cold's gun just happened to let him match the Flash when it was irradiated. But I suppose it's fine in a way, because it kind of parallels the hero. Flash was an accident as well, wasn't he? He didn't set out to get super speed, it just happened. And his being a career policeman while these guys were career criminals, that matches as well. This was three of the Flash's greatest foes, and the first battles with the fastest man alive, but the fun doesn't stop there, because there's many more wacky baddies that can turn up and have a go. And if these lads gave Flash that much trouble on their own, imagine what they could accomplish if they worked together.